Thank you so much for being patient, and hello, Capricorn. I hope that your day is getting off to a great start. I had so many messages this morning that came through, both in dreams and meditation, and then as I was doing the automatic writing, that I needed a couple more minutes to get everything organized. But we have some sort of magical energy that's coming through. In the totem last night, as I was dreaming, I saw bioluminescent energies, basically things that glow. I'm going to put a Paula down so we can talk. And so that signifies a lot of things. That it's a powerful energy, but it's kind of like a wake-up call. So I'm really excited to kind of see how this is going to relate to the messages, especially when we get into the cards here in just a moment. So let me introduce myself. If you're brand new, my name is Nicholas Ashbaugh, and we're here to take a look at the next 6 to 8 weeks. You can use this for your sun, rising, and moon. And we're looking at Capricorn. So basically, you can also use this for Venus as well. If you happen to know other aspects of your chart, feel free. And the beginning portion of all my readings, honestly, everybody's welcome to show up, because I am clairvoyant. I use dream totems. I use my own intuition before we get started to tune into whoever's going to watch this, whether it's live or later on replay. So you came to the right place. Stick around and let's see what's going to come through for you. Just a couple of quick things just to set the stage. The way that I organize this is in about 5 major parts. I like to begin with what I have here on the table, which is a ton of notes. So we'll talk about that. These are the channeled messages that I just talked about. Then we'll look at a Celtic Cross and see some additional messages around just basically any opportunities that could be coming through, any sort of challenges, and that's your chance to navigate. I'm here to give you the things that you need to enact your own free will and be powerful. After that, we'll look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. I know those are areas that everybody likes to look at, and that way the center portion can take on whatever form it needs to, and then we still highlight all of that. Thank you so much, by the way, for super stickers. I'll talk more about that in a second. After we do that, the Celtic Cross and expanded forecast, I will do a quick review. Then we'll move on to the soul path, where we look at something deeper that you need to be focusing on, usually a couple of areas and then a wild card. We'll meditate, and then at the very end, save your questions. If you have any questions that you're trying to figure out, I do my sort of equivalent of a pick a card here in these generals, where I will ask you to silently send that question to me, and I'll pull a card and I'll give you some insight on what's going on. And you can see here, Michelle just sent me a sticker. Thank you so much. For anybody who would like to do that, I'm using one of my newer decks today, the Modern Witch deck. I've have 3 new ones that I've put into rotation, like True Heart Tarot, Modern Witch, and Afro Goddess. All of them are amazing, and I've been able to do that with support from people just like you, Michelle. So thank you so much. If you'd like to do that, the way that you can show support is by clicking on the super sticker, super chat, and it is, if I can pull the picture up here, it's basically right by the emojis. Also, while I'm doing that, since this is right here, if you haven't already hit the thumbs up or subscribe, consider doing that. Or when you start to realize that you like what you hear, if you'd like to show support, you can do that. This helps other people find it. It also helps you find me in the future, because we all know the algorithm can be a little bit sporadic at best. Let me see if I can find the sheet here, and then we'll get started. Here it is. So if you've never used super stickers or super chat, it's this icon right there. You can also join the channel from that place, and you'll see a lot of folks here are monthly supporters. So thank you so much. Okay, let's get into the messages at hand. By the way, thank you to my moderator, Maria. I'm not sure if Dakota's here. He'll probably be joining a little bit later, but thanks to Dakota as well. And we're going to talk now about your totems today, and they're beautiful. I don't think I've ever, aside from fireflies, we haven't done anything that's kind of been bioluminescent before, not to my knowledge. But what the first thing that came to me was this beautiful glowworm, and I'm focusing here on, I think New Zealand has this particular variety where they create these silk threads, and there's like this sticky membrane that they put on it. Basically, it's a way for the glowworms to eat, and we'll be talking about it, but just beautiful. It looks like something out of like Avatar, the movie, like that tree where there was basically glowing in the dark. So really, really gorgeous. So that's one of the totems, and here we go. This is a picture from the New York Times. You can see a little bit closer. Really, really gorgeous. All right, so then let's look at your other totem, which was this sort of bioluminescent algae that will wash up sometimes on the beach, and you can see it. I think it was like 1/10 of a second. It kind of flashes, And we're going to talk about how and why these two different insects use a glowing feature or mechanism for survival. And yeah, it's not just for pretty. So we'll talk about that. Okay, let's look at like I said, two totems today, both of them glowing in the dark or bioluminescent. So glowworms and algae. So I was shown many sort of insects that were glowing, but the two that I was able to figure out, I'm like, okay, I can talk about these two. There are more than this, actually. There's a lot of fish that glow in the dark or glow under the sea. And usually it's for protection to scare off a predator and things like that. But the two that I remembered the strongest and felt most compelled to talk about were the ones that I just mentioned. So we'll start first with the glowworm. First of all, it's not a worm. It's a catch-all phrase for larva that resembles a worm, but it's actually like beetle or gnat larva, and it's a young form of that. So in the life form, it's like step 3 of 4 or 2 of 4, because it's right before it goes into pupa, and then I guess the fourth one would be the actual gnat. But let's not judge that it's a gnat. It's the same as a butterfly or a moth. It's the same sort of cycle, right? So we're going from like the egg to the larva to the pupa to the adult phase. So let's talk a little bit about what's special about glowworms. First and foremost, they bring light to the darkest areas. A lot of these are in caves. There's special tours that you can take where you go out into the river beds and look into the undergrowth and the dark regions of the earth. There's actually light, which is kind of cool. So I like that they're shining light where there's dark. You, too, may be asked to kind of rise above low frequencies and shine a light in a dark space or in a moment where you think you may not be able to do it. The glowworm is coming through today to say, yes, you can shine. I was talking about there's a special species in New Zealand, and it builds these dangling silver or these silky threads, which I was showing you. So it almost looks like that tree of life in Avatar. And they're sticky and they glow, and it's actually to trap food. So it's very much like what you would think of with a spider web, but this behavior is actually with these with the larva. So the light is actually in this case used to lure them in. So we'll talk about that in a second, but that's important. First and foremost, though, I like to look at the positive of every sort of thing, and then we'll talk about the things to watch. So webs or these sort of sticky traps that they have, to me, that's actually auspicious because it's magnetic. And this is just, it's just an insect. When I look at, we shouldn't judge it any more or less harshly than we would a lion that would go out and hunt its prey. So basically, when we look at apex predators or hunters or birds of prey or whatever, they're just good at getting what they want. And that's what this is good at. It's devised a way to lure something in, grab it, and get sustenance. So it's an abundant sort of symbol here. You can manifest what you want, and you can do it more easily now over the next 6 to 8 weeks. Okay, so I think that's really cool for you to think about, is that you have a magnetic energy, and what you put out there has a greater chance of sticking. If you've ever heard that phrase, like throwing pasta at the wall to see what sticks, this is the same sort of stuff, but I feel like now, don't be afraid to take a risk, because one of your ideas will stick, is what we're basically getting with these sort of threads of silk. Okay, I really like the visuals. I thought it was beautiful, and what a cool way they've evolved to sort of survive, right? Now let's talk about the fact that it's a mechanism that is a lure, and it reminded me of a poem, actually, because I thought, like, not everything that glitters is gold. It's a little bit backwards, and that's based on sort of a saying that's been used several times, but you know I'm a sci-fi geek, so I'm going to read the Tolkien quote for you. All that's gold does not glitter. We'll take apart that piece right there, which is saying that sometimes you see someone or something that looks amazing, but it's not what it's made out to be. Not all those who wander are lost. So if you're in a point of your life right now where you feel like it's not coming together, or you've been sort of on a series of unsuccessful ventures, maybe you are just trying to figure yourself out. This is a month where that clarity could come into focus. So just because you're wandering doesn't mean you're lost. It meant that you were calling in experiences in your life to help you out. The old that is strong does not wither. We should not underestimate wisdom. In fact, there's something, we need to get away from ageism in this current society. The fact that we have to keep like pulling things back and touching things up. If you look at a lot of indigenous cultures, they look at elders as just that, someone who's been around that can help you from, making a mistake. This might be a time that you want to lean on emperor, empress, hierophant, someone in your life that actually has some experience. So that's that piece. I never thought I'd be using Tolkien in a reading, but that's kind of what's coming through. All right, deep roots are not reached by the frost. So ground yourself this month, right? Take some time to really ground yourself in purpose. And if you felt like you've been wandering around, get back to what your soul is asking you to do, not what others are asking you to do. From the ashes, a fire shall be woken. This could be a month of inspiration. A light from the shadows shall spring. This is why I kind of went to this, because we saw the little glowworms in the dark shining in places that were dark. You saw that sort of metaphor if you've ever seen the movie Lord of the Rings too, where Frodo, he pulls out that little vial that he got from Galadriel and shines it on the spider. Again, there were too many connections to this, so I wanted to say this. I think that for you, there's a chance for you to shine, and even if something seems as big and scary as a monster, you're going to be able to overcome it this month. This is when I was writing my book, I had an editor that wanted me to enact revenge, and I talked about this already. I think redemption or elevation is always a stronger path, and it's more inspirational. So you don't want to meet darkness with darkness or fire with fire. You want to transmute it and look at it from a different perspective. Renewed shall be the blade that is broken, the crownless again shall be king. So this is a really good energy or sort of thought around reforging things in your life. So if there's something that was broken, a friendship, a promise, or just a path that you kind of let fade, you can always go back and rekindle it. And you always have a chance to go after what you want and reclaim it. And ultimately, that's what we have here with you can be a king or a queen. We'll see what comes through in the cards here, but I like that, okay? So who knew that Tolkien fits so nicely into this reading today, but it's alchemic. That poem is very alchemic, and it also reveals truths, which is don't take things on the surface or on the first sort of outward look. Usually I can feel out a situation easier. It's like, what is the person saying and how does it sound? What am I getting from the way that they're looking at me? Pay attention to the more subtle energies, not just the first sort of external glance. Tune in energetically, okay? Next piece. This poem, by the way, was about Strider, aka Aragorn, which was this sort of king that chose to sort of wander the woods and wait for his time to kind of ascend. So there's a little bit of this for you. This is a time to step up. You could be this, or there could be someone in your life that constitutes this diamond in the rough. And then also look out for those who are putting up a convincing yet artificial facade, because I feel like there's going to be a revelation this month. You may realize that you were selling yourself short. You may have been putting too much light, energy, and focus on someone else, and it's all about rekindling the flame and rebuilding, right? There you go. Okay, now we'll get back into the glowworms. We went into a sidestep into Tolkien, and now back into the glowworms here. They're one step away from pupa, which there's fancy words for metamorphosis on different insects. It can be called, you can cocoon, you can go into a metamorphosis or chrysalis, and pupa is the same thing. They're just different shells and different places that they do it. So basically, I was surprised to know that this is one step away from metamorphosis, and then it becomes like a gnat or a beetle or something after that, which means for you, you are on this half step towards transformation. Soon, maybe not just yet, but soon, a bigger step is going to be necessary. So what should you do? Follow this sort of larva state, which is to absorb, to research, to think, to rest, so that you can prepare for that winding road that's ahead of you, the challenge that might be ahead of you. An exciting chance to step up as well, okay? Because I was shown more than one, I also wanted to hit on one more totem here. And so I was shown the bioluminescent algae. And what I found out is it's a brief moment for that. It's just like I said, 1/10 of a second, I believe. And it's a form of protection for algae. So it keeps other predators away. It can also pull in predators, but we're going to focus on that defense mechanism. For you, I think it's about amping up your protection a little bit, standing up and speaking up for yourself, strengthening your online and offline security, passwords, locks, cameras, all that stuff. Most importantly, though, because we're looking at something that signals, we want to be paying attention to the signals around us, because it could be just like that, a flash. And so when that happens, you want to pay attention. What did I just pick up on? Something about the way they said that means that I need to follow up. Something about their energy I'm not reading, and it doesn't seem right. We need to dig a little deeper. Listen to those subtle forms of intuition. They're very, very important. Next piece here, I would say you could be the one that could sound the alarm as well. Speak up and sound the alarm if something doesn't feel right or sound right, because you could save so much trouble in the long run simply by being the voice of reason. It's not always fun and it's not always popular, but a lot of times it is necessary, okay? The next piece was something I saw this morning in dreams as well. And what this was, it was very clear to me. There was a sink and the water was coming up from the pipes. So it wasn't that the faucet was leaking, it's that it was backing up from either like the septic system or the plumbing. There was something wrong, or that it hadn't been draining. The pipes were plugged up. So plumbing issues. So of course, when I see something like this, for those of you that may own a home or be in a place where it's kind of in disrepair, you want to look at the plumbing. And if you've been putting it off, now is not the time to put it off. Especially if there's issues with septic or sewer systems, you want to make sure that that is taken care of, because I saw it coming up. All right, but because we work symbolically here as well, the other thing that I think this is about is clearing energies in your life that are blocking that flow. When we look at that, a pipe is just, to me, a metaphor for this ability to channel clearly. It can also be a connection between you and someone else, a cord that needs to be cleared. So clear up those cords, clear up those blocks. We can do a little bit of that perhaps in the meditation a little bit later. There's no time for wasted energy. That's the reason, right? Okay. The other thing that I saw was, it was interesting. I don't know why, but I'll just report what I see. I saw also water kind of like stuck in the head area symbolically. So it could show heightened energy of like emotions around here, just like if you have like the 9 of Cups or something, it can be heightened feelings of emotions. But for some of you, you may have something literally like water stuck in your ears. There may be something with balance, because when I see water in the head, it can also be like inner ears, or we could be looking at the brain itself. For those of you, I had a concussion a few years ago, and that's basically what happens. Your brain gets pushed a little bit, and everything it's amazing we can survive stuff like that. It's a minor brain injury when that happens. So if you've suffered anything like stroke, concussion, or you have inner ear issues, please go to the doctor, because I just saw that. So I cannot help you with that. I can only report that for some of you, there's something, either emotions or literally something with the fluid around the head space that needs to be attended to, okay? That's that piece. Don't worry if you're not feeling anything. It could just be, like I said, the symbol of cleaning up the energy between you and others. I think for 90% of you out there, that's what this is about. Clearing those energetic pipes between you and others, and we'll work on that a little later, okay? This one was super specific, but I'm also gonna be able to pull it out into the collective here that's joined today. For those of you in school, I know school's kind of out, but some of you may be taking summer classes right now. I was shown a curve, a grading curve, that there's something, like it's really difficult, I felt, and this is also gonna be important for those of you that are working or just in a difficult point in your life. So I was shown what would not be a passing grade, like a 68%, right on the cusp, like a D plus, but it was rounded up to a C plus, like a 10% curve. What made the difference was that other people spoke up, and then everyone ended up kind of winning, because if it's just a lone voice, then people may not realize that there was a larger problem, a breakdown in communication. One time when I was in grad school, thinking way back, there was a teacher that just couldn't teach the class. It had never happened, and I was in a really good school, but there was someone that just came in that didn't understand the technical part. It was right when things were starting to get really, technical, using things like non-linear editing and stuff like that, like Avid and Final Cut Pro hadn't even been around then. But this person understood old film editing, but couldn't talk about non-linear stuff. So all the students had to go to the head of the department and say, we're not getting what we paid for. And he stepped in and taught instead. It was really cool, actually. Sometimes you have to speak up. And it was what was necessary there. They needed to make a change. We were paying for it. And anyway, we didn't want to get less than. So this 68% that I saw in my head could be that you've paid for more, but you're not getting what you signed up for. So this could be in an apartment if you're paying a lot, but they're not giving you the service that you need. This could be at a job where you're putting in a lot, but you're not getting the benefits. They haven't hired you, etc. Whatever this is, I see less than. It's like Six of Pentacles. And oftentimes I look at Six of Pentacles as you having a chance to say what you want, but it can sometimes be getting the attention of someone. And the good thing with that Six of Pentacles is it is a receptive energy. They'll just have to take something from somewhere else and fix it. Okay, so I think that's really key. I think that's the most important piece. Oh yeah, just make sure that the team works together to enact that curve. That's the important thing. It's a teamwork message more than anything. This is interesting. So if you are stepping into a leadership role, because we had that sort of poem from Lord of the Rings from J.R.R. Tolkien, if you're curious where it came from, you might be willing or ready to step up into a leadership position. But what I got from my intuition last night, and it was the night before too, was that people were getting their feelings hurt if you didn't remember their name or if you didn't say thank you. So I had two messages, but this is the way I've kind of articulated it. I'll put it in another way in just a second. But there's no small part in a team. Recognize everyone, remember the names, and say thank you. For some of you, the message I originally got is that you don't want to be a supporting role anymore. It's kind of like best supporting actor or actress, right? It feels like you're ready to take the lead. So I just kind of went that step already, which is many of you are ready to do that. But remember, there are others who might feel the same way in the group that are also feeling underappreciated, underrepresented, just not listened to in general. And so this is really important. And the last piece is just to be authentic and kind with communication and really hold back on sarcasm. It's not going to go where it should or where you want it to. It'll be misconstrued. So encourage others instead. And if you can't say something nice, or if you have to look around to see who's going to be listening, if you say something, you can't say it, is the main message there, okay? Because it won't bode well. But by and large, as we look at all of this with the glowworm energy that we talked about, this is a chance to basically shine. It's a star energy. There's a warning with it, however, that sometimes things that look beautiful may have an underbelly to them. So you want to get to know people, especially if you're dating or starting something new this month. It's a magnetic totem because of the silk and that sort of sticky substance on it. It's beautiful too. So there's some really cool things with that. Same thing with the algae. It was about sounding the alarm, listening to the signs. And I also like that the algae is it's in water, so it's fluid, it's moving. So I feel like there's a chance to move forward. Looking at the fact that glowworms are also pupa was important because that shows you that, you're right before, not pupa, but larva. You're right before that stage of metamorphosis. And then teamwork can actually help you get ahead and get past a blockage. Blockages are important. It could be something literal in your house or electrical wiring, but I feel like it could be more symbolically the connection between you and others. If there's anything going on in your head space that is I would say it's physical, is actually happening in the body, just go to a doctor because that came up. And then for leadership, we just talked about it. Lead the way you would want to be led, remembering people, calling them out for positive. Don't do anything sarcastic. It's just not a good form of humor in the long run. It hurts more than it helps. And usually years later, it doesn't age very well either. If you missed anything here, don't worry. At the midpoint, I'm going to review this. I'm going to grab a drink of water here in just a second, and I'll put the cards on the table, and then we're going to get into the Celtic Cross. Welcome, everyone. It's good to see so many different parts of the world represented today and a nice audience. It really makes it worthwhile. So like I said, I'm using a new deck that you guys helped me get. It's called the Modern Witch deck. So thank you. I'm going to leave that there for a second. And like I said, I forgot to get my water, so I'm going to pour some water and let's get started. Again, if you just joined, you can watch this for your sun, your rising, and your moon sign, as well as Venus. And all right, I am ready to begin. right, let's take a look at your messages, see what's coming through. So we got the ocean, which makes sense because I saw the algae. And it's actually beautiful because it has that same sort of bioluminescent glow that the algae sort of blooms do. So I like that. So with the ocean, let's talk about how this is going to function as your catalyst. It's movement in and of itself, and it's power too. It's one of the forces that continually shapes and changes this Earth. So there's a lot of planets out there that don't have, like, not every planet has water, but the fact that we have plates that move, plate tectonics, and we have water, basically ensures that this planet is constantly being changed. So the mountains that are built start to get worked down by the rain and the rivers and the water and all of that, and it's all a function of the fact that we have the ocean here. So movement and change, and water looks big, but it's made of small molecules, little tiny H2O molecules all over the place. So what we're looking at today is the collective ability to make change happen, organizing a group into a larger and more powerful whole, and allowing that more powerful energy to move things forward. So the waves look like they're this big, powerful thing, but it's constituted from smaller energies and also smaller organisms. So yeah, group power is something that came through a few times. This is the water here looks pretty calm. So I would say also finding places in your life where you can start to kind of well up and get ready for that. A wave, before it hits the shore, it starts miles and miles out to start to gain height, gain momentum, all of that. So just like we were talking about the stage of being like larval, pupa, and then the insect itself, you're kind of in that same energy within that wave. So to me, I just imagine that this is far from shore, but waves travel fast. So part of this is up here and in here, how quickly that wave of change hits your desired sort of destination, okay? Let's move into the cards here and take a look at what's coming through. So we have the 7 of Pentacles. It's reversed, but I'm laughing a little bit at the illustration here. There's always impatience in that particular illustration. A lot of times you'll see a male figure there who's just kind of like sweating and looking at it and is thinking like, seriously, like this is all that I have right now. So what I want you to do is to remember that this is being tempered by the Wheel of Fortune. So with the Wheel of Fortune, you're either sometimes here or here. And I feel like some of you are just around, like just getting ready to come up to the top of the Wheel of Fortune. So don't give up. When we're looking at this, you'll see that someone's on, it's easier. It's a lot easier when you're on top than when you're trying to push it in the opposite direction. So you're making good strides. Patience is part of 7 of Pentacles. The other piece that comes through with 7 of Pentacles is an understanding that this is something that I've learned through years of reading it, that there's usually going to be something that triggers you. And it could be an insecurity, it could be an external opportunity. Sometimes it comes in the form of temptation, but it could also be a self-defeating thought where you think, it's not gonna work, it's not worth it. It is worth it. We have the Wheel of Fortune right on top of it. So you're making good progress. You're making great progress, actually. But it's work. Work is work. It would be called play if it was something else. So when we need to work on something, when we need to figure something out, we often need to sort of like just hunker down. Now, that being said, if you can have some fun in the sort of experience, because end goals can be anticlimactic. So when we're looking to do something, whether it's accomplish a certain feat or to just get something material in our life, when you look back, it's usually that experience of working toward it that was where you were growing. That was where you were experiencing something. It's through the lens of nostalgia that we can see, oh, that was actually not so bad. So I encourage you in this moment to think about what's not so bad, what's actually good about the moment, and then take a moment to think, hey, I've done pretty well. I'm on the path to recovery. Ultimately, this is recovery and improvement and an elevation from the present state. It's a good card, but it can be sometimes tinged a little bit with temptation, self-doubt, or a lack of patience. So you want to be patient and secure in yourself and not give into temptation, basically, okay? Wheel of Fortune, higher purpose, rapid movement on the horizon for you. So like I said, this is picking up. It's a wheel. It's moving. You've got to move it, though, too. It's kind of like if you think of a really big ship. you have to crank that wheel a few times for it to move. And if you're, same thing in your car, depending on what you're doing, sometimes you have to crank it a couple times to make a really big turn. So this is what I'm seeing for you, is that motion of moving it a few times, and then you're going to be surprised. You can't keep doing that, or all of a sudden you're like, tail spilling. So just a few turns, and then wait and keep moving and keep working, and you're going to be okay. Some of you just need a break. We have the Four of Swords here, and she looks really stressed out. The Four of Swords is often coming through to say to take care of yourself. It's reverse here, which usually means that you may not have enough time or help in order to do that. And this is the sounding of the alarm that I was talking about, right? So I think it's really important for some of you to not push yourself to the point that you're so exhausted that you, I've got the Five of Pentacles here too. You could get sick, or you could just say something that you don't want to say. We didn't get any Ten of Swords or anything, so it feels like you're in a pretty good place with that, but it's just not healthy. So try to get some rest. Like what I have to do before I do readings is I need to make sure I get a required amount of sleep. I usually want to get about 8 hours if I'm going to do this, because I get up early, I have to do some research, I have to write down all the cards, I have to pick a deck, I have to focus, and it's a lot. If I do it on not enough sleep, I don't know what I'm saying. So I have to be able to access all of the higher energy, and then also what's up here in the gray matter. So same thing for you. There's only so much you can do. Give yourself the required break. You probably need a vacation. You might need a sick day. You might just say no. Say no if you're doing too much. Some of you may also be having issues with the quality of sleep, or this particular Four of Swords has a little bit of the sort of nightmare energy that you would see with the Nine of Swords. So it could just be work stress that's causing this, or stress in your life. It feels like if you can't deal with it, it's not just, it doesn't feel, it is. If you can't deal with it in your daily life, it's going to come through in your subconscious or unconscious states when you have no choice but to sort of like get rid of that. So the clogged pipes that I saw could also just be the mental pipes where and I saw the water in the head. So all of this is kind of making sense. If you're pushing yourself too much, then you're going to be less productive. And the more you keep pushing yourself, the less productive you are. And that's why the frustration sets in. So get some sleep, take some rest, take a night off. It'll help you. To that end, by the way, that's what I'm doing tomorrow. Aquarius will be on Thursday, just because I had to catch up on some stuff, but I announced that at the beginning of the month. So sometimes we have to put a little, bumper in our schedule so that we can get things in the order that they need to be in. Okay. All right. Next piece here, we have the Eight of Wands. Things are busy. They're going to get busier, and you have to sort of keep the pace with this. What's missing from this Eight of Wands, which I've seen in other decks recently and I like, is a community effort. So these 8 wands can actually also indicate points in your life that you can access, people that you can lean on, things that you can reach out to. So you're not alone, and you don't have to juggle this all by yourself. The good news is this portends fantastic things with respect to business. So if you are an independent or small business owner, what I'm seeing is the pace pick up. You may need to hire help. And I know that, at least from what I've been hearing on the news here stateside, that it's hard to find the good help right now. It's competitive, and there are other issues like low pay, which isn't helping inspire people to come back. So I understand and I feel the pain, but you'll have to figure out how to keep up with it, because you don't want to lose some of that momentum. So that's one of the challenges. For those of you that are just working, it just means there's a lot coming through your desk. We're kind of in a catch-up phase, oscillating between opening and pulling back and opening and pulling back because of the way this pandemic has been working and the variants are working. So it's weird. There's a lot going on, and I think everybody's doing a little bit more work than they used to, and they're having to work in different ways. So it's coming through here. But I see business here, which is good. And we saw the Wheel of Fortune, which is good. And I'll take the Seven of Pentacles. It does mean debt management. It means that probably for most of you, there's going to be a required piece of debt management. But in the near future, we have the Ten of Pentacles. So if you do it wisely, I feel like you can do it. This is like taking a small business loan, taking a payment and delaying, basically if you can get like no interest borrowing in place, stuff like that will help. Good debt management, not just debt for the sake of debt. And that's what the Seven of Pentacles at the center is saying. You have to keep on track of all of this. We have the chariot reversed. that chariot, if we look at this, it's actually, she's trying to make it happen there. So with the chariot in reversed, this could be, like I was talking about earlier, poor leadership. It could be you just wanting to say, you know, I can do this. I want to do this. I'm ready for this. So this is you moving forward and driving the initiative, driving the narrative here a little bit too. So it feels like taking charge is a big piece of the opportunity for you, but it's obviously your choice. You can decide what to do. If you don't like who's leading, then find a better leader. Help the kind of like collective group find a better leader. For those of you that are retired or kind of out of work, what we see with the chariot card is also how to find parts of your life that you can really look forward to and control. Take your power back here. So the chariot reverse could be a lack of transportation, finding other ways to connect and get out there in the world, because that's really what's calling you, is experiences. We have the Ten of Pentacles here in the near future, very auspicious. Nothing really bad with the Ten of Pentacles, particularly when it's upright. And I like what we're seeing here with the story of Seven of Pentacles reverse, managing debt, managing tight resources, managing patience, and then seeing that that push is worth it and pays off. So I definitely see improvements on your current financial situation. If you're good, it could get better. If you're not doing great, I see opportunities for something more. Okay, so I like that. All of those things look good to me. Ten of Pentacles can also indicate an increased importance of family right now, or community. Some of you might be getting married. Some of you might be wanting to just do more with friends and family, because that's what this card can also indicate. Ten of Cups is usually more of that. Here's the interesting thing with Ten of Cups versus Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles can be the obligations. So we had a year where we didn't have to do all of that. You might be getting some invitations again, and there's choices based on safety and decisions that you have. But I see that coming through too, which is obligatory social engagements coming back and going to the office, or again, maybe asking that you want to work off site. There's decisions now. We have to make choices of what's best for us. All right. Looking at what's affecting your own self, your soul, your ego. We have Five of Pentacles in reverse. So the Five of Pentacles is always an opportunity to improve self-confidence and to heal a wound from the past, or to heal something that, you know, maybe we've even just done to ourselves because we're hard on ourselves. You know, if you are a child, it can be forgiving a parent. If you're a parent, it can be working to connect with your child more. If you have siblings, there could also be some water under the bridge that has to be dealt with. Like, it really isn't water under the bridge. There's something there emotionally from the past where you feel like, this is still bothering me. Even if the past is just, you know, a couple months ago or last year, there's something going on where it feels like you need to clean the air, clean the pipes, clean the sort of energetic connections between you and others. Don't sell yourself short. Whenever I see Four and Five of Pentacles, for me, I see the Seven and Ten of Pentacles for you, but this is representing self. So believe that there's more possible for yourself in career, in love, in life in general. Don't limit the thoughts around resources, because resources can be all of those things. Love, opportunity, physical objects and material objects, and also wealth, time too. Just imagine you could have more of all of these things, and that you're worth receiving all of those things as well. That's how to counter this card. The card is reversed, so that tells me that you're already working on that, but nonetheless, let's focus on amplifying your energy and amplifying your light. Okay, we have another reversal here when we look in the environment, and this is more what people around you may be having a hard time doing. So with the Page of Wands in reverse, it can be a bossy person that doesn't listen. The interesting thing is, it's a page, it's not a queen, it's not a king, it's not even a knight. So you have a chance to use other ways of communicating or push back. You can push back on a Page of Wands. It isn't the most, sometimes, remember what I said, someone may seem like they have a lot of power, but they may not. And the minute you push back and say that doesn't work for me, they'll say, oh, I'm sorry. Or they'll try someone else, or they'll just stop that tactic with you. So definitely standing up for yourself is important, and giving a clear message to them, because they're not listening. You may need to kind of like get them to look at you one-on-one, or like through FaceTime or, you know, Zoom, Skype, etc., because there's something happening where they're not paying attention. Okay. For you, it's to keep an open mind. And it's to take something that you've been wanting to do and to really bring it forth. A page delivers. It's like Mercury, right? or Hermes. It's that connection. And Mercury was pretty powerful. He moved fast. He had those, speedy boots. So you have the chance to get a message delivered faster, and you can try multiple channels. So Page of Wands, someone doesn't understand what you're thinking is. It's not so much in the words. It's like they don't get the big idea. So you might need to break down that idea in a different way, visually. You might need to get someone else to help you articulate, because there's something about that they're not accepting. By the way, sometimes people just don't want to agree with you. Be that as it may, you're not going to have to, you don't have to worry so much. I feel like there's a better conduit. This person isn't as strong as they seem or as important in the connection as they seem. There's someone else you can go to. Go to the knight, go to the queen, go to the king, work around this person if you have to. Opportunities this month are good. We have the Ace of Cups. I really like it. And hopes, fears, and opportunity. Some of you may be a little bit, it's interesting that this is in hopes and fears. So with Ace of Cups coming through, there could be a fear of like, will someone love me? Will they appreciate me? Am I ready to put myself out there again? In any type of lover relationship, it's also a fear of socialization, because we've been asked and forced in many ways to sort of like be antisocial, to keep distance, to cover our face, to not look at people. Like now we have to find ways around that. And again, we're facing potential, like here in California, we're wearing masks again. And I know in different parts of the world, depending on where the variant is, you have to be careful. So there is this social anxiety and awkwardness that didn't exist before. But guess what? It's an Ace of Cups upright. So many of you may have an opportunity to make a new friend, to deepen an existing love relationship, or to find love in your life. You want me to look at that sometimes. And if it comes through, I acknowledge it. So there's a chance for love. Are you ready for it? That's my sort of rhetorical question to you. What do you want to do with that? Also, we can take love or passion and channel it into other things. And should you decide to put it into work, great things are possible with the 10 of Pentacles and the crossing card, the Wheel of Fortune on top of that 7 of Pentacles. So I think that no matter how you slice it, you have a magnetic energy. We saw it with the glowworms, but you have this magnetic energy to connect with others. So let's do something with it this month, right? And then ultimately, we have a power card here on the end, the final outcome. So if we look at your crowning card, it was the Chariot, which is gaining control. And then ultimately, we have the Emperor here. She's holding the Ankh, which is really cool. And I like that they kind of play around and have a woman on the throne here for the Emperor. But you have a chance now to take control. If you want to, you can do it. And you're going to leave this 6 to 8 week period, rather, feeling stronger, feeling more empowered than you were when you stepped into it. So if you feel kind of chaotic or lost in this sort of sea of feeling and opportunity, you're gonna find your way toward that sense of I've got this, okay? So let's work through the expanded forecast, looking at health, wealth, love, and destiny, and let's get some more insight on how you can do that and what's available to you. Let me take a drink of water. We'll begin with your health card. Health is mind, body, and spirit. We have this angelic protection card here, which I love. Beautiful angel too. So with this, okay. When we're looking at health, for many of you, notice how he's holding the sword and shield. It's very much like Archangel Michael here. So standing up for yourself and articulating what's going on, what limits you want, sounding the alarm, like I said earlier, it's going to be all very, very effective and important. If someone in your life won't take no for an answer, that's dangerous, and that's important to look at. So if you tell someone to leave you alone, or if you say you don't want to do something, and someone just keeps kind of like coming into that boundary, they clearly are not listening. That's the page reversed. It probably has to do with the fact that they don't like rejection in general. But the thing is, you have to be strong, and you have to keep strong boundaries. Ask for help if you need it. Sometimes your voice alone may not be enough to get through to that person. So a supervisor, a helper, a parent, law enforcement, whatever. It feels like for some of you, you need to amplify the no. Like, no, I'm really not interested, and say it in different ways. And that's important for you. So standing up for yourself and defending yourself. I like that we have angelic protection here as a sort of energetic message. Before I start every reading, I was actually talking to my moderator about this. Sometime I might show myself lighting the candles, but I light 4 candles behind me, and I call on archangels there, and I connect to the divine here, And often when I'm channeling, I light this one. I have some other candles that I light, but they're all real, and I light them beforehand, and I put intention behind them so that there is just this angelic protection. You should do that before you do anything spiritual. You can also, you don't have to go to a church, a temple, a mosque, or anything to do that ceremony. You can get a little votive candle at home and a candle holder and say a prayer. And basically that's a way of amplifying the energy and asking for help. So you definitely can do that. Let's look at some specific health messages this month. I talked just the other day about this, but Five of Pentacles has to do particularly with lower extremities, but we're talking about like knees and ankles in particular, and then also the circulation in your lower body. So if you're sitting a lot, like I do a longer reading here after this, I normally walk my dog and walk because I want to get the blood flowing in my legs. Or if you fly a lot on the plane, you want to make sure that that's working okay. This card was reversed, so you might also want to try some sort of an inversion. So, you know, for those of you that do yoga, it could be, you know, standing on your head, or you can use your shoulders, a shoulder stand. It could also be, you know, certain exercises just allow you to reverse the flow, just because again, there could be something here too with, there's something with the flow of blood in your body. It just needs to move a little more. So work with a professional if anything's off, but I think just general movement's going to be important, moving the legs. And for some of you that are flexible and can do it and have done it before, doing forms of safe kind of like inverting of the body, yoga poses are in particular, but work with a professional for that. Don't just do it on your own. Again, I'm a tarot reader, not a doctor, but I'm just giving you some advice on energy and energy imbalances here. Let me see what else is coming through for you. Obviously, sleep quality and quantity. It's a combination of both. We're looking at the head again and the stress associated with maybe not being able to manage day-to-day stress in her life. So those are things that are important. Those are the biggest things. And again, a lot of court cards or major arcana that are seated. And that's why I want you to move the lower part of your spine and legs a little bit more, okay? Or I'm encouraging you to do that. That's it for that. Let's look at wealth. We have Medicine Mother here, and it says honor your inner knowing, rather. I like that. This is basically the shaman and some decks, or it could be like the magician or high priestess. So in the environment, you have the power to change it. She reminds me a little bit of the Queen of Wands because she has the sunflower right around her crown or headdress there. So I associate the sunflower closely with Queen of Wands energy. That's why I think when we're looking at work, you don't want to work with the page. You need to work with the queen. And that's what we have right here is the queen. So it's important. Sometimes we have to work with an administrative assistant, but sometimes there is a person that just isn't getting the point. So you'll find a way to maybe work with someone else that can get time on that person's calendar for those of you working. For those of you in families, it is about going to the source, not going through the chain, not gossiping, just getting straight to the source and telling them what you need, okay? But this is the power to make change happen in your life. So looking at your career and your life purpose, some of you may also be called to do healing or some sort of work that makes it a better place, not just about creating a product for the sake of doing it. It's really about something where you are lifting people up, where you are changing the world like one person at a time. So that's definitely a piece of that. I see a chance for some of you to ask for more and receive it. So 7 to 10 and a Wheel of Fortune saying it's coming through, stepping up to get the power, not doubting yourself, pushing through a block. And ultimately, it's a happy outcome when it comes to work situation like that. So speak up and ask. You never know until you ask. And for those of you that may be trying to prove like there's a glass ceiling or something, if you bake these things into your performance plans for each year, whatever it might be called at your company, then at a certain point, you'll say, well, we talked about it and I accomplished all of this. And now you guys just aren't delivering. Why? Because I saw this person and this person. At that point, usually it's better to move on unless you want to create change in that company. But there's a chance to make and mold and shift things to your liking, because this to me is a combination of high priestess and magician. So what do you want to do? When do you want to do it? She's here to help you do that. Okay. 10 of Pentacles. This is the truth. Some of you also might be having your, it's hard to say that, but cutting in half your assets because of a divorce, separation, or selling of something. So some of you may have had a roommate situation where you maybe invested in a condominium and one of the roommates is going to buy you out or you're buying them out or something like this. This could be a divorce. This could be a company being sold. Just make sure you get your half of that, okay? That's also important. But you can get it 50-50. Should be 50-50 is what I'm saying here. All right, let me see if there's anything else with respect to wealth. Who's in charge? We talked about that earlier. Do you want to take that management position? If you don't, you should support whoever is in management. And if you don't like whoever that is, then again, you have to decide to either ascend up or affect who's in charge and then support that person. I think there's kind of a choice to be had there. You can work your passion and do your own thing for sure, because we've got the Ace of Cups connected to the Emperor. So I definitely think that's possible for you. Overall, pretty good. There's nothing negative here. You're busy and you have to figure out how to best use your energy while you're busy. All right. Let's move on and take a look at your relationships. And we have Radha here, Soul Flame. It says, rediscover a lost part of yourself, experience relationship harmony and healing. I love it. So this is really about making things better overall. And Soul Flame is a nice word for that. For some of you, you might be connecting with someone who you have a really deep connection with. I think we overuse the word like twin flame and soulmate. So let me just kind of dig at this for a second. Soulmates are everywhere. My dog is my soulmate. He's over here. He has 2 beds. Sometimes he doesn't want to be on camera, but he's one of my soulmates. So is one of my parents. So is, one of my best friends. What it means is I have karmic history with them. And all of the ones that I just mentioned was really positive, great history with those people. So that's a good soulmate. You can also have karmic energy that's heavy, or where someone did something that wasn't so great. And usually what I've seen is that there's a power reversal when that happens. And that's why we have these power cards. That's why I want to talk about it. So oftentimes someone that took something from you in another lifetime, you may be in a powerful position, but they're causing trouble for you because they're like, that used to be me, kind of on a subconscious level. And sometimes when there's a person in power and we're not, we're learning the lesson of again, maybe what it was like to have that energy. So looking at it and releasing the energy and the lesson, and then thinking how to get on beyond that. So when you're looking at love this month, and I'm going to break it down into in love, looking for love, and not really focusing on love. When you're looking at love this month, take a look at the karmic connections and go to that. Like, what if this feels familiar? It feels like I've been here before. How can I change it? You may find that through dreams and meditations, you're able to travel back and figure it out. But when I scratched my head there, it's not because I had, there wasn't something itching there. It's because the energy was excited there. So for some of you, I feel like people that get under your skin, it's because there is sort of this lack of listening that's happened before, and they're stubborn. So working through the stubbornness is going to be important, and realizing that you don't have to change their mind. You can't get in there and change their brain structure. It's not like a computer. So knowing who you are and being honest and sort of consistent in that is going to be really important. But to my point earlier, you don't always need or want a soulmate. Soulmates can be good. They can also be a pain. In this case, a pain in your head, and that's why we even see it. Trying to figure them out, it doesn't always make sense. So instead, look for a partner that's done the work. Whether it's their first time around with you or this is your 3rd or 4th lap, it doesn't matter. More doesn't always equal better. It equals familiar. And it can be more complicated because soulmates can get under your energy more, okay? So look for someone in the same resonance, not just a soulmate. Twin flames are great, but they're not a necessary component to a happy existence on this planet. And if you're not in it, that doesn't mean you're bad. It means that you're choosing a different path this lifetime and you wanted to learn something about yourself and about others in a different way. So we shouldn't feel like that's the pinnacle. We're attracting what we need in this lifetime, not what others are doing. Again, focus on you. Now let's look at the 3 different areas. Those in relationships, money is definitely coming through as a strong central point. Let's just look down at the cards for a second. We have the 7 of Pentacles, the 10 of Pentacles, and the Wheel of Fortune right at the center, and a lot of busyness. Some of you might just be getting lost in this sea of finances and other things. So in existing relationships, who's in charge, who's looking at the checkbook, who's making the purchasing decisions, who's powerful, those things are coming through. There is love, however, but there's a lot of noise, a lot of clogged pipes, which I was talking about. And there may be a point where one person feels constantly left out, and it's important to try to find a way to even out that energetic exchange. So Self-worth, money, resources in general are going to play the biggest part in existing relationships, but I do see a chance to bring it into a good place. If you're looking for love this month, your mind really isn't on it as much. It feels like you're quite busy. 8 of Wands, Wheel of Fortune, 10 of Pentacles, lots of stuff going on. In fact, you might even be trying to improve personal health, working out a little bit, healing from an injury, etc. Love comes in an inconvenient time. And you may have met your match with this person, but it's a good match. This is long-term potential. This is someone who's just as strong as you. There's love here, but work on self-confidence and personal health so that you can maximize that energy when they come in. Okay, that's the one thing that's kind of holding you back potentially. And then if you are not concerned with love this month, I think where you need to focus on relationships is your own relationship with yourself, loving and accepting yourself, and accepting love that wants to come in. Guess what? You still have love and support here. 10 of Pentacles and the Ace of Cups. You're busy, but I actually feel like we talked about teamwork. It's all about teamwork this month, whether it's the algae here, or it's the glowworms in the cave, or it's all the people that we see in the 10 of Pentacles. You can do more with that team. So open up, heal yourself. And I feel like you could also be like the second in charge if you don't want to take the main role, because the Emperor and the Chariot, they're hand in hand. So I feel like there's a chance for that step up opportunity. Okay. So overall, all good, but resources and money and self-worth play a big role of what's going on here. Thank you so much for everyone that's sending super stickers. I appreciate that. All right, let's move on to your Destiny card. Destiny is your trajectory and your outcome. We have spiritual support. I feel like I just talked about that. Dear angels, I allow you to support me as I grow to become more spiritually aware. This is also your spiritual family that's around you. You have to be open. Take that Ace of Cups and say, yes, I am ready to receive love, abundance, and support of the highest realm. And that's what we see here. You're also being supported in spirit. This could mean like your ancestors or your relatives from this lifetime that have passed are coming through in a strong way to help you. So if you're trying to make one of these big next step shifts that we were talking about, like you're in larva stage, but you're going to pupa next, basically that transformation, ask for help from grandma, from your ancestors, from whoever's up in spirit, and say, this is the time. Help me be aware and take advantage of the opportunity when it comes through. Because we don't want to like put them to secretarial work. That's not how angels and spirit works. It's sort of like, help me be aware, help me make the right choices, help align the situation, and I will be present and I will be ready. Show me the path, or give me confirmation that I'm on the right path. All of these are good ways to sort of ask for support, okay? Because that's definitely something you can do. I like what I see so far. Let's do a mini review, and then we're going to go a little deeper. Before I do that, let me take a moment to just do a quick audit of what we got and what we didn't. So we have wands, we have pentacles, we have swords, we have cups. We got all the different elements represented. Now, as I'm looking at stuff here to focus on, I want to look at the Four of Swords because that's one of the trickier cards here. So I'm going to look at it in a few veins here. I think it would be rest, and I would look at it restlessness for those of you that might be AKA impatient. It's managing those resources, but the most important resource is like your own energy, managing energy. Because especially if you're going to start to do more energy work, you're going to have to be able to do that. And the other thing that I'm looking at here too, as I'm looking at these cards, is what can we do with the control stuff that's coming through? Because the top two cards show two people that are in a tug of war. So let's just look at power dynamics, and then we'll let the third card be whatever it needs to be. And later I'll pull a card based on your questions too. All right, so let's look at a quick review. If you just joined, perfect timing. Even if you've been here, I get additional insights as I do this, so stick around, and then we'll go into the soul path. So you had a dual spirit totem today, the bioluminescent glow worms, and also the algae that glows in sort of like those 1/10 of a second intervals on the shore. I was shown a lot of different types of life on the planet, but those two stuck out in particular. Glowworms are pretty interesting. They're not worms at all. They're actually larvae. And larva, like I said, is one step away from a transformative phase of pupa. In particular, they're usually beetles or gnats. So the gnats are kind of cool. Both of them actually, because they can fly. So They bring light into the darkness. That's the coolest thing about all bioluminescent life forms is they shine light where it's normally dark. Caves, riverbanks, and then places where there's a lot of brush and overgrown sort of trees and things like that. You may be asked this month to step up and to shine a light in that dark amid the low frequencies, and you can absolutely do it. There's a cool species in New Zealand. That was the one that I showed in my picture there, where they hang upside down the glowworms from the caves. It looks like something straight out of Avatar. It was really cool. So what was also interesting about this is it shared a lot in common with a spider web, because those silk strands actually had a sticky substance on it that would trap prey and give them food. So in this case, the light is used as a lure. We'll talk more about that in a second. The webs are magnetic, however, so that's a good and auspicious sign showing that you can attract things that you want. Things can happen a little bit faster. You just have to put your mind to it. The mechanism of a lure that I was just talking about is important because it reminds us of the fact that sometimes things aren't what they seem. And I use this poem here showing that all that is gold does not glitter. So sometimes things that are valuable don't show up as that. They're diamonds in the rough. Not all those who wander are lost. Sometimes we have to take a winding path. I talked about this the other day to figure out what we want. The old that is strong does not wither. If you've really learned what you need to, this experience card came through here, the Emperor. Age and wisdom are your friend. It's not something to brush under the rug. Talk to someone who has the experience. They can help you. Deep roots are not reached by the frost. The more you ground yourself, the less you're affected by people's attempts to try to pull you off your path. So that's why trees can withstand more of a winter, because unlike the plants that are sort of more delicate, they have those deep roots. So put the deep roots in, do the work that you need to. You can rise from the ashes here, just like the Judgment card. And again, putting light where there was none is really important as well. This is a chance to come back. This is the comeback sort of poem too. Renewed shall be the blade that is broken, the crownless again shall be king. So you have a chance to come back and reclaim something that you lost. Like I said, you may be the diamond in the rough, someone else may be the diamond in the rough. You may also see someone that's putting on a good front, a good facade, but in actuality, there's nothing there. Glowworms are one step away, like I said, from that metamorphosis phase. You're undergoing subtle changes right now, but the changes are happening nonetheless. That next step is happening faster than you think soon. So take some time now to rest, to research, and to get ready for that. Preparation is key. The algae that glows in the dark, it's basically doing so because it's protecting itself. It's very brief, but it's really important. To me, it symbolized sounding an alarm and protection. So stand up for yourself, strengthen your online and offline security, listen to the warning signs that others give you, and then also don't be afraid to be the one that says something that's unpopular that's important. So sound the alarm if you have to. You're going to save yourself and others a lot of time later. I was shown a sink that was overflowing. It was coming up from the drain in particular, so it was plumbing issues. It could be literal for some of you. The rest, I would say like 99% of you, this is indicating the blockages of energy that could be happening in your own body or between you and between others. There was also a quick note, though, that some of you may have some sort of balance issues or literally something with water around the head. So that means something to some of you, but for most of us, it's just blockages. The other piece was this grading curve that I was shown. If you're like me, you're many years out of school, so it's not so much about that. It's more that if you ask for help, the work that you've done may actually get you further than you think. There is assistance ready for you, but you have to work with others and you have to ask for help and you have to receive it, because the Ace of Cups is also a receiving card, not just a preparation card or a giving card. If you take that role in leadership that I've kind of been hinting at, remember to thank other people, to say their names, to know their names, and to appreciate that no role is small. Everything is required. It's all part of the chain. It's all a link. Hold back from sarcasm this month. Just a general warning. Encouragement is going to go a lot further. And just don't make the joke. It's not worth it. That's what my guides wanted me to tell you. When we look at the energy of the ocean, it's all these little molecules that come together that create a greater whole. There's a lot of teamwork energy that came through. We also saw, like I saw in the dream, this bioluminescent energy, which was in the ocean itself. So I feel like many of you have a chance to shine and to move something forward. Also, things take a while to build up, but once you get to that cresting form of the wave, it's done. So trust that this momentum is building and it's going in the right direction. It looks like it is. Don't get discouraged. Don't be impatient. Avoid temptation and avoid lower frequency or defeating thoughts, because everything that I see here is moving you in a good direction, right? And we're going from 7 of Pentacles reversed to 10 of Pentacles upright, and we have a Wheel of Fortune right on top of it. So just a little bit of movement of how to organize and spend your time and energy more wisely is key. Rest is important, both in health and spiritual connotations, and also just stress management. Don't take this stuff home. Don't take it to bed. Talk to somebody before you are sort of like dealing with that. For big decisions, it can also mean sleep on it. All of that. Take a sick day, all that stuff that I said earlier. You're busy, but there's help. Ask for help. Stay on top of this stuff. Don't let requests and things get ahead of you. Hire someone if you need help. Power and responsibility management is key, and we're going to be looking at that in just a moment when I do the soul path. 10 of Pentacles is really good in the near future, showing me growth and abundance and more people that want to be around you. So one of the things that you might have to manage is who to say yes to. There's a lot of people in this picture. You don't have to be with everyone all the time. Self-confidence, confidence in general, not selling yourself short, and healing wounds from the past, all aspects of the 5 of Pentacles. Also paying attention to your legs, your ankles, your knees, the sort of lower extremities that hold us up. It's like the poem that I was reading, those deep roots. You got to make sure that the lower part of your body is in good health right now. Listen to others. Maybe you have to work around someone. Don't work with the page, work with the queen if you have to. Find a way to do it that's not insubordinate, obviously, but sometimes we have to get past that person that is saying something. Now, if you're speaking with the queen bee or the king bee, at that point, if they don't want to work with you, then move on. Again, honoring people's boundaries, including a no, including I don't want that. That's important, because this person is telling you, when they say I don't want you, they're telling you in a different way, you can do better than me. Believe it or not, it's not that you're less than or you're not good enough. It might mean that there's some work that you can do energetically on yourself, but it also means I'm the wrong person. You're not finding it with me. So that's important to remember, because something better is awaiting you with the 10 of Pentacles and the Ace of Cups. You may have your eyes and sights set on one person, but there's something better. There could be a better job, a better relationship, a better opportunity on the horizon. So open up to that. The rejection is good. No is good. Someone blocking you is actually a favor. It's redirecting you towards someone that will receive. Okay, a block is a block for a reason sometimes. Emperor here, you have the power to do something on your own. Take your own fire and kindle it. In this case, your own sort of passion here with the Ace of Cups, and do something with that. That's why this whole ocean energy is here as well. You can move others by your own sort of passion. Protection is key when it comes to health, when it comes to spirituality. Take proper sort of precautions, I would say, to make sure that that protection is in place. Heal yourself this month, because many of you have worked yourself so much that you might be getting a cold. We can't afford a normal cold during pandemic times. We have to stay healthy. So I don't want you to run yourself ragged. That's definitely important. I see good things coming through in work as we head towards that. So try not to stress as much. I see improvements here. You have more power than you think, which is why we got this. She's just such a gorgeous Queen of Wands here with that crown. I love that. She's saying you can do what you need to do. You just have to believe in yourself and have to kind of like alchemically work with things. The other thing with work, you deserve more and you have it within your capacity. If you can't get it where you're at, it's time to move on. You are not the chariot, you're the emperor ultimately. So that's the message here. We have Soul Flame Radha coming in here saying, rediscover a lost part of yourself, for sure, with the 5 of Pentacles. Experience a relationship harmony and healing. Also possible here. What happens in the 5 of Pentacles is people don't listen to each other. There's a shelter or a church or a mosque or some sort of sanctuary behind them, but they don't pay attention. They're not even listening to one another. So if you have someone in your life that won't accept help, focus on you and move on to people that are receptive. That's important. And we basically broke down the most important thing across all relationship fronts is time and energy resource management. I would say that's the heart of it. There are power struggles coming through too. The good news for all of you is I see growth and abundance. And for some of you, maybe even marriage or a deepening of the relationship there. So it looks good across all fronts. Finally, you have support. Lean on it, ask for it, use it. It's there for a reason. You don't have to do everything on your own. All right, let me look at the notes that I wrote earlier, and let's go into the soul path. Restlessness and impatience, the Four of Swords. Why did it come up? What do we need to know about it? Let's take a look. Page of Swords. Simply speak up for some of you. And also exercise. For those of you that might be having a hard time getting the sleep that you need, when you start to put in meditation and exercise, it definitely helps. Writing it out. Pages are writers. Writing and speaking it out. So talking to a friend, writing it on paper if you need to, talking to a doctor, talking to a therapist. You don't have to choose any one over the other, but expressing yourself and then moving and taking action as well. So once you put this down on paper, then go to sleep. So sometimes if I'm worried about something the next day, I just make sure I make the list and I go to bed. And today I have one of those lists that I'll start to check things off on. That's whatever you need to do. But I do feel like speaking is going to be really important. Writing it, getting it out somehow. That's going to help you with the sleep component of it for sure. All right, let's look now at managing energy, because we had so many, and just management. I'm sorry, not that. Let's look at power dynamics, but I think that can also be management as well. So power dynamics, because we had the Chariot and the Emperor. What is it all about? What do you need to focus on? It won't surprise some of you. Moving on, we have the Six of Swords. So this can be breaking free and deciding, I am ready for this. I'm ready to take the power. She's holding the Ankh. The Ankh has come up a lot lately in the past few readings. It's a symbol of rebirth. It's a symbol of endless sort of, it's reincarnation, rebirth, and that eternal life is what I was going to say. So it's not an end. It's just a new beginning is what the Ankh shows us. So for those of you that are ready to take that step in the new direction, it's time. It's good. You might also need space and distance. You might also be able to remotely work for those of you that are looking to do something for yourself and have more time and energy. But there is a distance or a walking away or a separation factor that is a part of the Six of Swords. You may also be on the heels of losing something in your life. So if you've recently retired, it can be the connection to a title that you had, or a company that you had, or a status. If you left a job because you were laid off or made redundant, even like nowadays, it's happening all the time because of changing industries. It's nothing to take personally. It's really the universe saying, all right, here's your time and energy back. What do you want to do now? It's an opportunity to rebuild and to hopefully kind of expand and do something else. I've been through that journey. I did it on my own. It's interesting because the job that I saw what happened, it took a long time, but it wouldn't have existed. The office is closed down. They're transferring employees elsewhere. So I saw it years before it happened, and it was also part of my inspiration to leave. There were life events, there were internal changes, and I saw the breakdown of the company and the office. So for some of you, this is just the natural course of action, is movement. If we don't move, we're not living, right? Our bodies actually won't work very well if we're not moving. So it's time to move. That's what I see, movement. And if you're not able to move up, to move out, to have some sort of movement in your life, you have to move on. And that's what we see. Okay. Let's pull one final card that's not specifically oriented in any particular place. By the way, for those of you that have lost family members, I'm sorry for you. Take your time. And there's no kind of like expiration date on that. But the Six of Swords is still a good card, irrespective. It shows movement and change. And the fact that I saw a glowworm earlier shows me light and transformation. So what happens with the soul when it goes into soul review is it looks through its eyes and the eyes of others to kind of figure things out. So that's also really connected to people who have lost someone, because a lot of us have with COVID and just with life in general. Basically, that person would be in the that sort of larva stage just before pupa. Pupa is when you really kind of go into energy. So they're discovering, they're thinking, they're reviewing, and it's okay. And so are you. We kind of do a mini review for ourselves too while someone passes. Clearing all that out, looking at the sign in general, one more message for all of Capricorn. Three of Cups, yay. Okay, that's a good one. Three of Cups is reversed, however, but it's a very good card. So for some of you with the reversal of this is sort of like how do I best articulate it? an intentional hermit, but not one that has to be. So this is your telephone buzzing with texts or emails and you saying no to invitations. Say yes to some of them. It would be my encouragement, because we have the Ace of Cups here. One of those cups is worth kind of like taking on and seeing what it has to offer. Now with the Three of Cups in reverse, there's other connotations. In life in general, it is about not taking for granted the little things that are coming through that are bringing us reason to celebrate, cause to celebrate. So celebrate the little victories. The other thing with the reversal is to tune out people that are gossiping, that are petty or sarcastic, because I picked up on some of that. And understanding that you don't have to fit into, it's probably advantageous sometimes not to have to fit into certain niches, some of those cliques that we would call them socially. And then just moderation, less is more. I like the Three of Cups, but sometimes it can go a little over the top. So I think all of those things are important there. So a quick little review of all three, and then we'll go into the meditation, and then I'll answer your final question. So when I was looking at how to deal with the restlessness, the impatience, the sleep issues, exercise, writing, and speaking, getting that stuff out, and actually taking some action on it, because if you're dragging your feet, yeah, you're going to have more anxiety. So talk to someone, get some help with that. For all of you looking at just power dynamics, either you get a chance to ascend to basically going from the Chariot to the Emperor, or you decide to move on. You decide to do something different, distance yourself from that. Separation is one of the messages. Just for general happiness and power, you might also need to kind of like take a step back and figure out who you are. We lose ourselves sometimes, especially if we are a caretaker, or if we are in the position of supporting someone, like an administrative assistant or a coordinator for someone, and you do all of this for them, and it's like, where am I? So you just need some time off or time away. Do say yes to some of these invitations. We had the Three of Cups reversed, and it feels like there's a lot of focus on getting stuff cleared, getting some space, and then people miss you, and you may miss people too. There's a chance to reconnect with people that matter the most. Let's go ahead now and do a quick meditation. I want to do two things today for you. I want to help you clear the connections. This can be a cord cutting of sorts. We're going to push through that blockage, and then we're going to bring your light up. And we can imagine, I'll pull up the picture that I showed you earlier, that it could be sort of like this sort of blue-green that we saw with the, it's really beautiful, like with the algae. And then also this really dreamy, it's almost like Christmas lights, or that tree of life from Avatar, the glowworm. So we'll kind of use that bluish, greenish, even a little bit of, there's some other color here. It's like teal, even a little bit. Like that's the color that I see glowing for you, okay? So let's meditate. I want you to just take a deep breath, close your eyes. See yourself facing the ocean at dusk, at nightfall. Above you, you can see all the beautiful stars shining brightly. And you can see the reflection of those stars on the water. Imagine that perhaps you're on a pier, so you can look at the water without having to be right in it, so you can kind of observe things. And as you start to look in and look at all of those beautiful twinkling stars, you also see some of that bioluminescent algae that I was talking about lighting up, just like fireflies, but in the ocean. Large amounts of them at once, basically taking the water and making it come to life. If you want to, you could just imagine that you reach out towards the energy, and you can see now this beautiful bluish, greenish energy move around you. The color of communication, the color of the heart space, a little bit of the higher chakras as well. And you can kind of wear this energetic sort of robe. It's almost like this something that you could put on. You can kind of cozy up with it for a second and feel this light and warmth around you until you start to absorb that into your auric field. Now, with this newfound light that's starting to emanate from you, I want you to think of people in your life that you want to release. And then we'll end it with a blessing, but we'll start with a release. So think of the people in your life that might have been taking some energy, that you might have given more than you wanted to. And in this moment in time, I want you to think to yourself, enough now. Enough is enough. And I want you to imagine that that person is just kind of like floating on the horizon. You can see them, you can see yourself. And as the new sort of light that you've created in your body starts to shine through, and even as the water glows, you can see the connections now. It's lighting up just like the water is. So you see this filament between you and between the other person with blue-green energy. And in this moment, I want you to take your power back. So imagine that you can see into their physical body or their energetic body, and you can see your energy, what you've given to them. You can also see theirs in your body. We're going to do an exchange. You can come back and repeat this as many times as you want to later. So imagine that as you look at that person, you can see your energy, and what you're going to do is bless them first and say, thank you for the lessons you've taught me. Thank you for this journey so far. I'm ready now to release you and to reclaim my own energy. I'm going to seek a different experience moving forward. So you bow, both of you bow to one another and take a nice deep breath. Inhale, see the energy moving through that connection as you inhale. Reclaiming all that was yours. Hold it, allow it to go into the bloodstream, really get into your body, sticking into your energy just like that filament. And then on the exhale, I want you to return that which you do not need or want from that other person. Because I've been speaking, I'm going to do this again. Really deep exhale. I release you, mind, body, and spirit. Thank you for the lesson and goodbye. The person no longer has a connection to you. See the filament burning out. Just like if you've ever looked in a lamp where the filament bursts, this is what's happening here, but you're going to see it almost like if you were lighting a candle. You're seeing the wick go back to both sides and then just poof, it's gone. There's no connection. You've got your energy, they have theirs. They can't get back in your energy. You can't get into theirs. You can always choose to record in the future if you want to, create a new chord, but for now you're free. So enjoy that freedom. Feel free to come back and do this however long you'd like to, for a minute, however many times you would like to. You can continue to do the same mechanism that I just taught you while we play the singing bowl. I also want you to see, for those of you that feel good about the maybe one disconnection that you made, let's now just imagine that you're going to amplify your own light and maybe see some energetic wings coming out of your shoulder blades because you're ready for that next phase. You're getting ready to fly. All right, so close your eyes, allow the light to course through your body, feel peace with whomever it was that was taking your energy or not listening to you. They're now gone, they're not connecting to you anymore. And your resonance, your frequency is gonna go higher. And I'm gonna help you with that as we play the singing bowl. Take a deep breath when you're ready. Inhale. Let it go. Spread your wings and think to yourself something along the lines of this. I am ready to receive abundance in the highest forms, in money, in opportunity, in love, in things that are greater than I could imagine, of the highest good, of the highest blessing. Bring these types of opportunities and this type of abundance into my life now. Allow me to spread my wings. Allow any blocks that were once present to now fade away. I am ready. I am clear. Let's make this happen. You can gently open your eyes. And let's look at your final question. Keep this to yourself. Just mentally focus on something that you're seeking clarity in your life on. And I'm going to pull a card and see what comes through. Pretty darn good. We have the Three of Pentacles that came through for you. And the Three of Pentacles indicates that you're at a place in your life right now where recognition is coming through. And also for those of you that are asking, should I do it? This is a very good investment of time and energy. So usually in the Three of Pentacles, we would see someone that was basically finishing up something. It would be a craft person, like an architect, or someone that's working on something higher, like a builder. And they're finishing it up and someone's approving it. And with great sort of approval, looking at that and saying, good job. But it is saying, finish up what you started. And if you're looking to do something higher learning, investment in yourself, yes, this is the time to do it. It's a card of completion. So like I've talked about this before, when it comes to writers, Eight of Pentacles would be revision, Three of Pentacles would be nearly done. So in any path that you're on, this is showing that you're nearly done, you're nearly ready. It's time for you to focus on putting pen to paper and making this happen. So I feel really good. This is a very auspicious symbol for you. You don't have to do it alone, though, as we saw with the Three of Cups. There may be someone that can come in and lend some support or some insight on this. Some things to think about with the Three of Pentacles. For those of you that are looking to do more than, this is about working smarter. So you may have an opportunity to also create something that people can, like a curriculum or a product or a service that can be accessed again and again. So it can become like a passive form of income. So I see a great opportunity for that kind of thing as well. So this is a yes on all courts. This is one of the best cards you could pull. Recognize the power and the strength that you have within, because otherwise the Five of Pentacles blocks the Three of Pentacles. This is a lack of self-confidence. This is self-confidence, completion, and getting the job done. Okay, so it's a yes. There's really nothing I could say about the Three of Pentacles that's a no, other than you really want to look at the contract and you have an ability to affect the contract, because this is a signed contract or something that you're putting out there. Make sure that the words that you speak in the contract that you sign and everything that you're getting behind you, you appreciate that, because your name is on the dotted line for sure. Okay, let's quickly do the last review and then we're going to wrap up here, and I'll be back again, like I said, later this week. Page of Swords, speaking up, putting things into action, also writing things down just to sort of get it on record. All of these are important. Distance is necessary when it comes to power dynamics. Moving on might be necessary. Having someone just give you space, whether it's your boss or your parent or someone that you're working with, they need to allow you to do things on your own. That's important as well. Three of Cups in reverse, saying let's say yes to some of those invitations. Let's not worry if we fit in or don't fit in. Let's not judge ourselves too much, because the other three, the Three of Pentacles, comes through showing that there are a lot of people that are interested in what you have to offer. So give yourself a chance, give yourself a shot. It feels like this is a good month ahead, and I'm excited about what it might yield for you. Okay. Thank you so much. Couple of quick notes on how you can stay connected with me if you'd like to. First and foremost, and it's the easiest, but for some reason people have a hard time doing this, and I would say give it a shot. If you like what you see here, like and subscribe. You can only like once, but it helps. We have roughly half the likes as the amount of people watching. So hit that little thumbs up button. It helps me. Hit the subscribe button if you've been a longtime viewer but never subscribed. It's just a follow, even though it seems like you're subscribing to something. You're not agreeing to anything. It's just the same as following someone on Instagram or TikTok. And if you want to receive something, you have to click the bell icon. So this is free. You can do it once. This is free. You can do it once. Same thing for all of those. So if you'd like to show support, just like Kristen and Ajani did right now, thank you so much. You can do that with a super sticker anytime that you're watching this live. And then on replay, there's an option to do it with the applaud feature. And it's right by share. So right next to that, you'll see applaud, and it'll leave a sticker. It'll say who did it. And I always give a little heart to those later. If you also want to follow me on social media, just about everywhere, I'm at Nicholas Ashbaugh. And I will put story features on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And I also post to the community wall, and all the cards that I wrote within usually a day, I will post them to those sites as well. So you can look at the handwritten notes that I do. Just a quick note on social media. I will never offer a reading for free. I will never ask for products, services, or payment for anything. And I'm not going to follow you or add a friend invite. If anyone's doing it, it's probably a fake account. You can report that. You can also send a note to me and let me know so I can let everyone know what's going on. I'm Ashbaugh on Twitter, so feel free to follow me there if you'd like to. And you saw that I'm a fan of literature. I also wrote a book for those of you that enjoy things like Lord of the Rings or Dune. It's right behind me. It's called The Luminous Ones. So it's available worldwide. You can go to my website for some additional information. Thanks again, Eleanor and Kat, for your support there. And that is everything in a nutshell, I believe. If you want more information, you can click on the pinned link up at the top. It'll let you go to my website for more information. Special thanks to Maria for her help moderating today. I appreciate you. I appreciate everyone that showed up. This was a great session, and I feel like you have a lot of really wonderful opportunities in front of you, particularly when it comes to taking resources and growing them, because we've got the 10 of Pentacles, the Wheel of Fortune, etc. So be strong, good luck. Remember not to sort of get submerged or feel like you're kind of getting underneath all these emotions. There's a lot of possibility this month, and you have a lot of power to move it in the right direction. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. My schedule's on my site. Let me give you a link to that before I sign off right now. And you can see what's coming up. So let's see, schedule right here. I will be back again later this week. On Thursday and Friday, we'll be wrapping up with Aquarius and Pisces. I'm going to be doing some bonus readings the following week. So feel free to take a look at that. I don't have all the dates in front of me at the moment, but you can look at the, I'll see if I can pull it up here while we're waiting. Here we go. So the next few reading dates, I'm just going to paste it out here in chat. Those are all the upcoming ones. So it looks like we have the next two collectives are on the 25th and the 30th. I'll be deciding the topic of the bonus one. I'll probably reach out to channel members to do a vote or something. That's normally what I do. So if you're a sustaining member or a Patreon member, you can vote there. And then the end of month collective, everyone's welcome to both of those last two. So just stay tuned for details. And probably later today or tomorrow, I'll be doing my weekly TikTok reading as well. So more to come on that on an Instagram. All right, everyone, have a great one. Much love and light, and I will see you soon. Have a great week ahead.